What if your fatigue isn't just age, but simply a lack of water? And what if sudden dizziness or forgetfulness aren't just aging, but your body's quiet way of asking for help? My name is Dr. Mark Anderson, and today I want to share 7 signs of dehydration that are easy to miss. This simple knowledge could help protect your heart, your brain, even your life. Most importantly, we'll talk about small actions that are truly doable for everyone. Let's begin with something surprisingly common: feeling tired for no clear reason. I've had many older patients tell me they just feel drained by midday, even if they've done very little. It's easy to assume it's just part of getting older, but one reason often overlooked is simple dehydration. As we age, our bodies hold less water, our sense of thirst gets weaker, and our cells don't get the oxygen they need to keep us energized. That quiet, ongoing fatigue you feel? It may not be age. It might just be that your body needs more fluid to do its job. I remember Helen, one of my patients from Springfield, Illinois. She's 74, bright and active, but came in telling me she couldn't shake off this tired, foggy feeling that settled in after breakfast and didn't let go all day. She thought maybe her blood sugar was the issue or her sleep wasn't deep enough, but after a few basic tests, everything came back fine. Then I asked her, "Helen, how much water do you usually drink?" She paused and said, "I don't know, Sue, a cup in the morning maybe." It turns out Helen was drinking less than half a liter of water a day. No tea, no soup, just one small glass in the morning. We started a simple habit: one warm glass of water right after she got up, and a second one mid-morning. After just a few days, she called me, not to complain, but to tell me she felt more awake than she had in months. And I've heard similar stories from folks all over. George, 78, in Tampa, who stopped napping constantly. Clara, 82, in Denver, who said she could focus better during her morning crossword. What helps most people is something simple. Keep a small glass or bottle by your bed and drink it before anything else in the morning. Not coffee, not juice, just plain warm water. If you have a phone or a clock with reminders, set a gentle alert to drink again around 10 a.m. It's not about chugging gallons, just giving your body a small gift to start the day. If you've been feeling slower or heavier than usual, it doesn't always mean something big is wrong. Sometimes the answer is as gentle as a glass of water. Our bodies speak softly, especially as we get older, and when we listen, even small changes can bring real lightness back into the day. Another sign that often gets missed is having a dry mouth even when you don't feel thirsty. It might seem minor, but that sticky or dry feeling in your mouth, especially in the morning or late afternoon, is your body asking for help. As we age, our thirst signal weakens, so you may not feel thirsty at all even when your body actually needs water. The tissues in your mouth and throat are very sensitive to hydration, and when they start drying out, it's a sign your whole system may be running low. You might also notice changes in your voice, a scratchy throat, or even a bit of hoarseness. These are all little red flags. One of my patients, George from Albany, New York, is 81 and used to sing in his church choir. He came to me one winter complaining that his voice felt weak and rough, and that he often woke up with what he called a sandpaper mouth. At first he thought maybe it was the cold weather or just age catching up with him, but we ruled out infections and allergies. Then I asked about his hydration. George admitted he didn't really drink water unless he was taking pills and maybe had some coffee in the morning. Once we looked closer, it was clear he was barely getting 2 glasses of fluid a day. I suggested he start small, a few sips every couple of hours, whether he felt thirsty or not. Just a few days later, he told me his voice was clearer, his mouth didn't feel as dry, and he even slept better. Another woman I worked with, Eleanor, 76, said she always had a tickle in her throat but didn't connect it to hydration until she tried the same approach. One of the simplest ways to stay on track is to keep a small glass or bottle of water nearby and take a sip every 2 hours, even just 2 or 3 swallows. You don't have to drink a lot all at once, and you don't have to wait for your body to ask. This works especially well if you set a timer or link it to something regular, like reading the newspaper or watching your favorite show. Your body doesn't always shout when it needs something. Sometimes it just whispers. When you listen to those small signals, you're not only helping your voice or your throat, you're protecting your health in quiet but powerful ways. Here's another one you might not connect with dehydration right away: leg cramps, especially at night. I've had many older adults tell me they wake up with a tight, painful pull in their calf or foot, sometimes so strong it brings them to tears. While cramps can have different causes, one of the most common I've seen, and the easiest to fix, is simply not drinking enough fluids during the day. As we get older, our muscles become more sensitive to changes in fluid and mineral balance, especially when it's hot outside or we drink more coffee or tea than plain water. When the body doesn't have enough water and electrolytes, muscles can misfire, and that's when those painful cramps kick in. I remember Mary, a 69-year-old from Phoenix, who came in complaining that she kept waking up from a deep sleep with terrible leg cramps. She said it felt like her muscles were tying themselves in knots, and nothing she did seemed to help. Not stretching, not walking it off. We talked about her routine, and it turned out she drank several cups of coffee and iced tea during the day, but hardly any plain water. Living in a dry, hot climate like Arizona made it even worse. I explained how coffee and tea can actually dehydrate you a little, and how her muscles were probably running low on both water and sodium. We started small. 1 glass of water in the morning with a tiny pinch of salt, or sometimes a few drops of lemon, just that. After 2 weeks, Mary told me she'd gone several nights in a row without a single cramp, and she felt calmer when going to bed, knowing her body was more balanced. Another patient, Walter, 74, from Austin, noticed that drinking a little salted water in the evening helped keep his legs from twitching during TV time, and that helped him sleep better too. What often helps is this: add a tiny pinch of salt or a few drops of lemon juice to a small glass of water, especially if you've been sweating or drinking lots of tea or coffee. You don't need sports drinks, just a little extra support for your muscles. This works best if you sip it slowly in the afternoon or early evening. Sometimes what keeps you up at night isn't your age, it's a simple signal from your body asking for what it needs. And with just one quiet change, you might give yourself the peaceful night's rest you've been missing. One more sign that surprises a lot of people is that foggy feeling, when your thoughts feel slow or your memory isn't as sharp. It might seem like just another part of aging, but in many cases it's related to hydration. Your brain is made up of about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can start to affect how well it functions. I've seen many older adults become forgetful or lose focus during the day without realizing their bodies were simply running low on fluid. The older we get, the less reliable our thirst signals become, so you may not feel thirsty, but your brain still feels the effects. I'll never forget Franklin, a 77-year-old retired accountant from Des Moines, Iowa. He came in saying he was worried about his memory. Nothing drastic, just this constant mental fog, especially in the afternoon. He said it felt like he was walking through water and he'd stop mid-sentence or forget what he was about to do. Naturally, he was anxious it could be the beginning of something serious. We went through his health history, sleep, medications. Everything looked stable. Then I asked Franklin, "How much water do you drink?" He gave me that look many people do, a mix of surprise and guilt. "Honestly," he said, "I forget." He mostly drank coffee and had a soda with lunch, but rarely reached for plain water. I suggested something small. Keep a bottle nearby, and take a few sips every time he turned on the TV, opened a book, or went for a walk. After a week, he called me and said, "Doc, I don't know if it's the water, but I'm not pausing mid-thought anymore." I smiled and said, "It probably is." I've seen similar results in others, like Dorothy, 80, from Charleston, who told me she finally finished a crossword puzzle without staring at it blankly for 10 minutes. What often helps is to place a water bottle somewhere you can't miss, on the armrest next to the TV remote or beside your reading glasses. Link it to habits you already have so it becomes second nature. You don't need to chug it all at once, just steady, gentle sips during your regular routine. Clear thinking starts with clear hydration. Your brain does a lot for you, and sometimes all it needs in return is a little kindness in the form of a glass of water. Let's talk about something most people don't bring up unless it becomes a real problem: constipation. It's uncomfortable, frustrating, and for many older adults, surprisingly common. What most don't realize is that dehydration is one of the biggest hidden causes. As we age, the digestive system naturally slows down a little, and without enough water, the intestines can't move things along properly. Your body tries to pull water from wherever it can, including your bowels, which makes stools harder, drier, and more difficult to pass. If you've been relying on fiber or even laxatives but skipping water, that might be why things still feel stuck. Barbara, a 73-year-old from Cleveland, came to me with what she called a stubborn gut. She said she was eating bran cereal every morning, taking fiber supplements, and still felt like she was always bloated and uncomfortable. She'd even started using over-the-counter laxatives a few times a week, which only gave short-term relief, and often left her cramping. During our talk, I asked what seemed like a simple question. "Barbara, how much water are you drinking?" She paused and said, "Not much. I sip tea, maybe a little juice." That's when it clicked. I explained how the body needs fluid to keep digestion moving, that without it, fiber can actually back things up more. We made one small change. Every morning, before breakfast or coffee, she'd drink 1 full glass of warm water. Within a week, she called me and said, I didn't know something so small could make such a difference. She was using fewer pills and said her stomach felt lighter. I've had similar cases, like Leo, 78, from Tulsa, who swore by that same morning water trick after years of trying everything else. What often helps is simple. Drink a glass of warm water first thing in the morning before you eat anything. Don't rush it. Sip it slowly while you read the news or open the curtains. It gently signals the body to start moving and makes the rest of the day smoother. Our bodies work best when we treat them with rhythm, not force. You don't have to push or struggle. Sometimes all your body needs is a gentle nudge to get going on its own. Now here's a sign that often feels scary when it happens, that sudden dizziness or racing heartbeat when you stand up too quickly. It can hit fast and make you feel like the ground just dropped out from under you. Many older adults experience this and assume it's a heart problem or something neurological, but often it's related to simple dehydration. When you're not drinking enough water, your blood volume drops a little, which means your heart has to work harder to pump what's left, especially when you change positions quickly. Add in a bit of medication that lowers blood pressure, and that lightheaded moment can become a regular, unsettling guest in your day. I remember Thomas, a 76-year-old retired postman from Boise, who told me during a routine checkup that he'd started avoiding stairs altogether because he kept feeling like he was going to faint when he stood up. I move too fast for my body now, I guess, he joked, but I could tell it worried him. He'd already gone through cardiac tests and everything was fine. When I asked about his hydration, he admitted that he didn't drink much water. He didn't want to go to the bathroom more often and figured his coffee was enough. I explained how even mild dehydration can drop blood pressure just enough to make his symptoms worse. We worked out a simple routine. He'd keep a cup of water by his bed and drink half of it before standing up in the morning, then wait a moment sitting on the edge of the bed before fully rising. Within a week, he told me the dizzy spells had mostly disappeared, and he felt safer walking around his house. Another woman I helped, Sharon, 81, from Sacramento, added the same habit and found she could garden again without fearing that strange tilt in her head. One of the easiest ways to protect yourself is to drink half a glass of water before getting out of bed in the morning and to take your time when standing up. It helps your circulation adjust gradually, giving your body the support it needs to keep balance. Every strong step you take begins with giving your body what it quietly asks for: a little patience and a little water. That's often all it takes to bring steadiness back to your day. Here's a sign that's often right in front of us, but we don't think to look at it: the color of your urine. It may not be the most glamorous topic, but it's one of the simplest and most reliable ways your body tells you it's running low on water. When you're well hydrated, your urine should be a pale, straw-like yellow. But when it gets darker, amber, or even the color of apple juice, it's a clear signal that your kidneys are concentrating waste because they don't have enough fluid to work with. In older adults, this often goes unnoticed because they drink less or assume darker urine is just part of getting older. It's not. It's your body waving a little flag saying, I need water. I remember Linda, a 70-year-old retired librarian from Santa Fe, who came in for a checkup. Everything looked pretty good at first glance. Normal blood pressure, no serious complaints. But when I asked about her water intake, she said, I don't really think about it. I guess I drink when I feel thirsty. That's when I asked her gently about the color of her urine. She looked surprised and said, well, it's usually pretty dark in the morning and stays that way. That told me a lot. I explained how dehydration isn't just about thirst. It's about paying attention to what your body is trying to show you. We added a very simple habit. Every time she used the restroom, she'd glance at the color and let that be her reminder. Over the next few weeks, Linda started carrying a small reusable bottle around the house. A few sips here and there made all the difference. The next time she came in, she said, it's lighter now, and I feel better too, less tired and foggy. What often helps is to keep an eye on your urine. If it's light yellow, you're likely in a good zone. If it's dark, your body is probably asking for more fluid. You don't need charts or timers. Just use what you already see every day as your natural guide. Your body's not silent. It's speaking softly through everyday signs. Listening to those small signals is an act of care, and every act of care brings you closer to feeling more like yourself again. Leave a comment. Which of these signs felt familiar to you? Subscribe and click the bell. Every new video will help you feel more confident and in control. And remember, you are not alone. Your body is wise. You just have to listen. Life keeps going. Hold on to it.